did. But it's funny how many people were. And some of it I get, but why in the hell would this dude be that unhinged, you know?
Yeah.
We all understand you might have a bad day sometimes, but this dude.
Bro, but what is going on in Florida that people
something
are going
in the water?
There's something in the water in Florida, bro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cast&Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Pinche Ben. Today, we got a special one for you guys. I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, Jimmy Trent.
What's up, everyone?
I bailed out of that one, dude.
Yeah, you got out quick. Yeah, we got a good one today. We've been kind of excited about this. Not that it's anything good, but it's just something fun. But with us today again is Mr. RPG, Robert Garcia. Tell us about RPG.
Oh man, that's bringing back some memories. So RPG's been asleep for a little bit, but slowly kind of making it back into the world thanks to you guys. You know, just hanging out and bringing us back and kind of changing gears a little bit. You know, we've been doing a whole lot more hunting and all that, which kind of falls in line. You know, it's RPG outdoors, so we're still in the outdoors. Still doing a little bit of fishing, but leaning a little heavier to the hunting side. But here we are. So thanks for having me and. This topic's going to be interesting, hopefully fun.
I think it'll be pretty fun. We covered a topic a lot like this, pretty much the same thing last year, and it was, I can't remember, Captain Chris something.
Two conches.
Two conches, yeah.
Conchs.
Two conchs. Conches or conchs? I don't know. I'm a freshwater guy. I'm not much of a saltwater guy. Conches, conchs, tomato to me. I don't know. But yeah, we covered that a little bit last year. I think Ben, we got a video of it.
We do. We can
All right, let's share a quick clip of that.
All right.
Don't give a fuck. I am going back.
Just leave it.
Fucking cops, you don't fucking listen for shit. I just told you, listen to me. You keep telling me, listen to me, listen to me. I ain't fucking listening to you, bro. Okay, all right. I do this every fucking day. Every day!
Not 300 days a year, but
Okay, I hope I did.
All right. So
yeah, it was funny just how that played out because
it was interesting how that was the video last year. We were talking about a crazy boat captain who lost his shit on the water, right? And we were like, oh well, you know, who was right, who was wrong, and we dove into that. But Jimmy, we're not talking about that today.
No, not this time. That guy, he was knucking futs. This next guy, he's just completely unhinged. I don't know, but you know, I think he watched too much of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial and decided to be Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow over here himself, thinking he's a damn pirate. But yeah, I think we got a clip of that. Let's go ahead and check out some of that.
What, like 5 in the morning? Yeah. Nah, that was the dude in that boat. Were you the one that came through the middle of the bridge? Was that you? Yeah, I was here, but you ran in front of the other dude over there. Bro, you ran right through the middle of the bridge while we were all fishing.
In the middle of the night, the guy didn't have any lights on.
Bro, we were all fishing here.
Didn't have any lights on.
All right, bro, I'm not gonna do this with you, bro. I'm not gonna do this with you, bro. Like, it's not.
He's sitting there saying that he's like, I'm not gonna do this with you. I'm not doing it.
Right.
But does that? All right. So Robert, you're on the water on a boat more than we are. So this guy filming this, he's fishing under a bridge. Sometime right before dusk, a boat comes screaming through him, and it sounds like it was this guy that's screaming at him. What would you do if that happened to you? Like out on it's dark. Whether or not you got your lights on, I don't know yet. We'll see. But what would you do if that happened?
Well, you know, just first of all, common courtesy. So, you know, the local lakes that we fish here, you know, they've got some people go the 50-yard rule, the 100-yard rule. You know, it's an untold realistic distance, to be honest with you. But a lot of the times, you know, the same fishermen fish the same tournaments, the same jackpots, you know, the same weekend, you know, stuff like that. We all know each other on the water.
Nobody owns the water.
Exactly.
But there's an etiquette to it.
There's an absolute etiquette, you know, and the etiquette goes pretty extreme. So, like, say I go fishing and I know somebody that I know, you know, dearly, like Charlie Gattenbein, or you're going to go out there and, you know, you see some of these guys that, you know, their sticks, you know, they fish. you give them the common courtesy, even if it's a cove that's big enough for 5 boats to sit in there. If I'm rolling past this place and I see him sitting there fishing, he may be onto something. The last thing I want to do is go in there. I will skip that complete cove, even if I can fit 10 boats in there.
Right.
What if you didn't see him though?
If you don't see him, you know, and it's happened before. I've cruised in, I'd laid the boat down, and finally, oh shoot, there's somebody at the back of this pocket. I simply just do a turn and burn. I wave at them, and we go on a bit about our business. We can always come back and fish it. You know, there's like you say, nobody owns the water, but there's a certain respect out on the water that you give.
Let's try to watch a little bit more of this video and see how this unfolds. I'm gonna try to switch back over, guys.
You can't come flying through the middle of the bridge, bro.
Yes, I can.
All right, bro. All right, bro.
He said,
What are
"Yes,
you
I
trying to
can."
do, bro?
But I like
What am I trying to
What are you trying to do, bro?
The other guy
You
can
want
continue.
to go?
I don't want to
You're the
f***ing go. I want you to get the f*** out of here.
Big tough guy?
Tough guy? You pulled up on me, f***er?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
What do you do about it?
Nah, I'm fishing. Like, bro, get out of here. Like, what? What are you trying to do? Act like a tough guy in front of your buddies?
No, I'm not. Dude, all these know I'm tough.
Bro, all right, bro.
He's got about 3 other.
You know what?
Get going, bro.
We're all war veterans. We're all raised.
Well, thank you for your service, bro.
If you're gonna talk
Thank you for your service, bro. But that doesn't give you the right.
million,
All right, bro. All right, whatever. I appreciate you for your service, bro. But you don't got to run through the middle of the bridge, bro.
if your guy doesn't have his life,
That's not my guy, bro. That's just another dude, bro.
All right, so you can see.
This dude lost me at war veteran, man. When he's like, "I'm a war veteran," and nah, man, you lost me. Like,
the crazy part is when you get something like this that goes viral immediately. The first thing that it's the he said, she said, but I heard somewhere also that he was not even in the service.
I did hear that. I've heard quite a few rumors, and this is one of the. I mean, we're right now. What we're kind of here to see the video. We're going to talk about what happened on the video, but there is a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of things that are floating around out there on the internet, and there's a couple good channels that have covered it really well. One of them being Dieter Melhorn and Bearded Brad. They've covered it really well. So if you want to see some of those, like some of the facts, that's probably a good place to check that out.
We
But
can watch a little bit more. Let's see if we can pull in a little bit more video because I think it gets a little bit more interesting.
it gets hairy, huh?
Here we go.
Ben's back here live producing.
It's tough. We'll try.
you have to have lights on.
My lights were on, bro. My lights were on.
Somebody hits you, guess what the happens? You die, nothing happens to me.
Right, okay, bro. Keep thinking that.
No, that's the truth, dude.
All right, bro. Keep thinking that.
Guys, nothing happens.
Put your lights on.
Bro, my lights were on. I wasn't sitting there. Okay, that's not my dude, bro.
Yeah, for it.
Bro, I said, bro, you almost hit him. The other dude was cussing you out.
I almost hit him because he didn't have his lights on.
Bro, you shouldn't come flying through the middle of the bridge. You know people fish here, bro.
Dude,
I'm sorry, man. I don't know if that's what you want to hear, bro.
yeah, you should apologize.
Guy that's like, I'm just a kid. But it's funny how many people were. And some of it I get, but why in the hell would this dude be that unhinged, you know?
Yeah.
We all understand you might have a bad day sometimes, but this dude.
Bro, but what is going on in Florida that people are
Something
going
in the
loose?
water.
There's something in the water in Florida. bro.
But, bro,
On the water more than you can possibly fathom in your water.
me,
It's bro, not bro.
me too, bro. I'm out here all the time, bro.
I'm 300 days a year on the fucking water.
All right,
Every
bro.
day, I'm the best charter captain you will ever meet in your.
All right, bro.
Cuss me out.
Chill, bro. Chill, bro. Please, bro.
On his boat.
Please, okay, please, bro. Please, bro. Please, bro.
That guy's
Bro, I'm a
he
kid,
parked
bro.
his boat.
Please.
Apologize.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry,
You're
bro.
gonna cuss me the
All right,
in
bro.
the middle of the.
Bro, please, bro. Please,
My
bro.
boat.
Okay. Please.
Fucking apologize.
I'm sorry, bro. That was not me, bro.
Yes, it was.
I was here, but my buddy was on the
Take me
boat.
back to my-
Yes, sir. I'm a kid, bro. Please,
I
bro.
don't care. You don't cuss me
Yes,
the
sir.
out.
All right.
Laws and
To me, my-
regulations out there, but I would think so. That's freaking
insane.
crazy. That's insane. That
I will tell you this. Now, I'm not going to jump too far into it ahead of you guys, but I will tell you this. You know, on, like, for example, Belton, that's a core lake, so you're not allowed to carry any kind of weapons on there. But I promise you, if you jump on, I'm going to go out on a limb and say about 80% of those boats that are out there, you jump on that right boat, you're going to be falling back out of that boat. You're not going to be jumping back out of it.
Yeah, and you may not be. Well, you better hope you got a life preserver on.
Yeah,
dude. Even if I didn't have in that boat somewhere, there's a bait knife, there's a something.
Yeah,
dude, that thing just turned into a blender. I'm swinging it everywhere.
Yeah. That dude right there just crossed the line, and he's honestly probably because he's a young kid. I don't know his age, but if that was an adult, he'd probably had a couple extra holes in him.
So the news, articles that said that he was 22. So when the dude jumps on the, all right, I guess let me back up.
His tune changed when that foot set on his boat.
Real quick. So, this video has been posted on our Facebook page, and it got, I don't know, a lot of views, tens of thousands of views.
It got a lot.
A lot, yeah. And
we're
then,
in the hundreds of thousands.
And then along with that were a lot of comments. And you'd be surprised at how many people were backing the kid that, or the guy that's like, I'm just a kid. But it's funny how many people were. And some of it I get, but why in the hell would this dude be that unhinged,
Yeah.
We all understand you might have a bad day sometimes, but this dude.
Bro, but what is going on in Florida that people
something
are going
in the water.
There's something in the water in Florida, bro.
That Florida Kool-Aid.
Yeah, man. I mean, they become unhinged there, man. I mean, last year with Captain Chris, that was an incident. This year with Captain Brock, and man, I mean, this guy is facing a ton of backlash from the people. And, man, I can imagine how hard his life is going right now. Talk a little bit about that, Jimmy.
So not only is it his life that's probably going hard, there's a lot of other people that this affected. So I seen an article today where there's another captain there. His first name is Brock. I think it's Brock Wagner is his name. And he's got a boat, exact same boat, exact same color.
Pack it up and move.
So, yeah, exactly.
Acts like a duck, quacks like a duck. You're in the same puddle.
The same puddle, man. Just sitting there kicking along with them. But this dude started getting him and his family both. They got death threats. He had to remove his social media. He has to take a break from being a charter captain. He's losing revenue from it. He had to move his family out of the area because of the danger that they were in. Threats, yeah. And they're talking about giving them security all based off this Brock dude. So not only that, but the other guys that were on the boat with him. I've seen some articles about. I seen this one interview with the cameraman, and the cameraman was sitting there. There was a cameraman that was on that charter boat. I guess they went out on a trip and didn't even catch a single fish. But he's the best charter captain you'll ever meet in your life.
Look, this is the best podcast. We're on here 365 days a year. You can't tell us no. If you don't share this, you don't follow us. I'm telling you, there's nothing better out there.
That's it.
Yeah, well, we are the biggest podcast in North Central Southeast Texas, so that's something pretty cool to brag about. So.
Absolutely.
Find a bigger one. Find a bigger one in town.
There you go.
Yeah.
There ain't a PB&J like we got here. That's just unreal, man. I feel for the kid, and he's just out there trying to do what we do every week and go out and enjoy the outdoors. And, he's probably on dad or grandpa's boat, just having a good time. And then you run into this. Totally feel for him, I can't say that I wouldn't be in any different position than he is. If somebody ran up on me that way and jumped on my boat, even as a grown man, I mean, you got to think twice. Like, okay, this just got real. What are we going to do? Yeah. And for somebody like us,
Well, Florida is a stand your ground state. I mean, that kid had every right to go and defend himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Had he been carrying a personal carry, I know here in Texas the same way, and everyone that left their comments was like, man, that ain't going to happen on my boat, and I kind of agree.
Yeah.
I agree, yeah, but like Robert said, it's one thing to say what you would do until you're put in that situation. But the first thing he could have done was just keep that distance. As Captain Brock's boat was coming, he could have but he could have been anchored up and didn't have time to anchor.
I felt like it caught him off guard because it looked like if you look at the video, it looks to me like he was just going to pull up to just keep talking more smack, and then all of a sudden something went off in his head and says, jump onto that boat.
But I guess the fact of the matter is that kid should have never had to even think about moving his boat because Captain Brock's dumbass should have never, ever done that.
Yep.
And the dudes that were on the boat with him, like I was saying, they said, I seen some interviews, and they said they didn't want any part of it. I think they kind of agged it on at first, thinking it was funny, thinking this dude's not as unhinged as he was. But I guess
when he took that leap and went from haha to oh shit.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Real quick.
Unreal. I don't think I would react the same. I mean, we all, not all of us, a lot of us daily carry, but the day that we have to pull it out to possibly use it, you know, that's what we train for. That's what we use for. That's why we practice. And that is a whole different scenario that I don't think any human being is ready for.
But this kid obviously, well, I'm not going to say obviously.
Hold on.
Phone call?
I got
Is
a
that
phone
Captain
call,
Brock calling in?
Oh, shoot. Here we
Let's
go.
hear. What does Captain Brock have to
Let's
say?
see what he has to say. Hello?
You're on the cast.
I am in this jail cell
What?
30 hours a day, and I get a message to call you?
Captain Brock?
Captain Brock, we talked to your lawyers, man, and we thought that it would be cool to get you in on this interview.
First off, it's Captain, combat veteran, Horner.
Oh.
I don't need to take this disrespect from you or the waiter at the Olive Garden. You know who I am?
Well, thank you for your service. First of all, I heard you were a ranger. Is that right?
Yeah, you know, wars are won and lost by the approval and the disapproval of lead forms. So, thank me for my service.
So, well, thank you for your service.
Yeah,
It sounds like
service, sir.
you pushed a lot of
Yeah,
paperwork.
that's right. Thank me for my service. You know who I am? I am on the water 300 days a year. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Well, you did mention that in your video, so but I mean, I know you don't have a lot of time, but tell us what was going through your mind when you were trying to pirate that ship.
Listen, I am on the water 300 days a year. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I am the best charter captain in these waters in the world. If I want to use the bridge, then I'm going to use the bridge how fast I want. And you better have your lights on or you better have your lights off. You make way for Captain Brock.
All right, calm
Now
down there, tough guy.
You move. Don't tell me to calm down.
You think you're tough?
You know who I am.
I mean, it sounds like you think you're pretty tough because everyone on that boat thought you were tough.
Yeah, we're all combat rangers. You know a ranger? Do you know about military service? I bet you don't even know anything.
I spent a
about
little bit of
military
time
service.
around the military. I know a little bit about it. I know I didn't push any paperwork.
How
That's
could you? You haven't told me during this conversation. That's set bro code. You tell it to me in the
Bro code.
conversation. Otherwise, it's stolen valor.
Speaking of stolen valor, rumor has it that you didn't even serve with the Rangers. So what unit were you attached to? What Ranger battalion were you in?
I was in like the 74th Ranger Regiment, not quite the 75th. I was getting there, but
Almost made
I,
it.
Almost.
I served my country.
Well, thank you for your service, but I
Yeah,
have
that's
to
right. Thank me for my service.
I have to tell you that first off, I'm not.
Listen, we gotta hurry this up. I only got a couple minutes. I'm halfway done with my Kyle Rittenhouse tattoo. Let's go.
Well, thank you for your time, Captain Brock. We appreciate you. I don't think we're gonna get anywhere and settle this, but we appreciate you calling in. And man,
Yeah, I'm very busy. Very important. I'm trying to figure out how to get my boat back to HMS Blowhard, so that way I can go get out to the ocean and get back to doing what I do. Are we done here?
Captain Brock.
I think we're done here, Captain Brock. Thank you for your time.
appreciate that.
Oh, I
Yes,
can't wait
sir.
to get out of here. You want to get some Wendy's? Do you like Wendy's, Joe Rogan?
I'm gonna hang up on this
Take
guy.
that junior bacon double.
What in the world, man?
Oh, man.
What do you guys got to say about that? Captain Brock called us in. We had the pleasure of having him call in. Sounds like that guy is still unhinged and being unwound as we speak. I'm sure that guy is getting a lot of attention in the jail cell where he's at.
It doesn't sound like he's calmed down a bit. Like, not a bit. I think he's still a little pissed off about the whole ordeal.
Oh, yeah. A little.
Oh, dude.
Man, so again, this is something we're having a little bit of fun with, and we appreciate Captain Brock calling in. But boy, I tell you what,
Solid dude, right?
the guy is speaking for himself. That guy has a very long veteran history. Obviously, first off, timeout.
What do you say, 74th and a half or something like that?
Timeout. Let's call it what it is.
Ranger
Jimmy,
Regiment 74.
how many times have you been so angry and yelled from the top of your lungs, I am a combat veteran?
At least 3 times a day. At least. Especially when people haul ass past me or cuss me out. Do you know who I am?
I have never met a combat veteran.
No. Not a combat veteran. So that's what lost me in the beginning. He's not a combat veteran. He's a war veteran.
Yes, he is.
So I don't, maybe it's different, but everybody I know, they're like combat veteran.
Well,
War veterans, they're there, but that was generations ahead of us. They called themselves war veterans, and in most days it's called combat veterans now. But who knows? Maybe that's just here.
I don't know, but that dude sounded like he was a little freaking high strung, dude. I
Y'all
don't
know who Jeremy DeWitt is? The police impersonator that's like in prison for it and stuff now.
Oh, I think I've seen a couple of videos of that.
That's another Florida man. They look alike, they sound alike, they act alike. I think those two could be at least cousins. Captain Brock and Jeremy DeWitt.
Feel like a little South Park going on there. Respect my authority, you know.
Do you know who I am?
Hey, but what a surprise, man. We got a call from Captain Brock.
And the bad thing is we reached out to the younger kid too, but I guess it hasn't been a lot of time. Maybe
I don't know. I shot him an email. I've messaged him on Facebook. I've tried getting him to
give him phone
respond
numbers
and all that stuff, and he hasn't had a chance. I actually asked him to be a guest on the podcast. Obviously, Captain Brock couldn't join us. He was indisposed. Is that the word?
There's probably some other words as well, but yeah.
He's busy. Let's put it that way. And it sounded like he was getting a new tattoo, so I'm excited to see that.
His hands are tied behind his back.
Hey, I think, in my opinion, Captain Brock got what he deserved, man. That guy was definitely crossing the line, if you will, and he crossed the line of someone else's boat. Man, that's a serious thing. That's considered a form of piracy.
Unknown caller.
Unknown caller.
Oh, man, you got another one coming.
Florida Captain Brock again? Who?
No, there's a Florida. Let me try it. Hello? I normally don't take calls during the podcast. Hello? Can you hear me?
I got a message for that crazy bastard. All right. He came speeding through, bro, and he just went right past me, bro. Just flew by me, bro.
Hang on.
Then
Is
he has
this
the audacity
is this the
to
kid
call
on the boat?
himself a ranger in front of me, bro? Timmy Tough Knuckles over here just pull up right beside me, bro. Just unprofessional as hell. Just can't do it, bro. Pull up right beside me. Come on my boat just to cuss me out.
But did you have your lights on?
I don't know, bro.
Were your lights on whenever he bitched
Yes,
about?
bro. My lights were on, bro. That was my friends, bro. Their lights weren't on, bro.
Oh, so it was the friends. But you're okay. We've been wondering that, but now we know.
Well, maybe he would know if this dumb bastard would listen.
What?
But no, bro.
What'd you think when he jumped on your boat?
Well, bro, I was a little bit scared, bro. But, I held it down.
All right, yeah.
Had to held it down.
Yeah. I was scared, but I held my own.
I held my own.
So, I mean, tell us how it went down from your perspective. This guy is completely unhinged. He's telling his side of the story, saying you guys were just out there, no lights on, you were on the water, you weren't doing what you were supposed to do, and he said he had every right to confront you. Do you feel the same way?
No, I don't feel the same way, bro. He came out of nowhere, out of just speeding past me, to yell at me for something I didn't even do, bro. Like, what is that, bro?
I don't know,
who does that, bro?
Captain Brock, and you better mind your P's and Q's, because that's the what
he's
the
a war
best fishing
veteran.
captain you'll ever see, and he's a war veteran. So you make sure to thank him for his service, and I know you did. Personally, I think you handled it better than I would have. But Man, I appreciate you calling in and giving us your side of the story. I'm sure our viewers are enjoying this too. It's just one of those things where we don't always take calls in, but I got a couple calls in during our podcast, and I was like, I don't know who these are, but I'm gonna see what's going on.
I'm glad you took the calls.
Man, it's not every day we get a call from our viewers and I mean, these are the actual people that we're talking about, so this is pretty cool. So, I mean, since you had that altercation, have you had any reservation of getting back on the water? I mean, are you getting out there? Were you out there the next day catching fish, or what's going on?
Well, conveniently, this bro said he was the best fisherman, best charter captain in Florida. He didn't catch a single goddamn fish. All right, bro. Yes, I was out there the next day. I was catching more fish than the best charter captain in Florida.
So not only is he a shitty person, he's a shitty charter captain.
Yeah.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Apparently a shitty ranger, a shitty war veteran, shitty. He's just shitty.
He's a shitty person, man. I think we can all agree. So what kind of message? I can
agree with that, bro.
What kind of message do you have? And I know you don't have a lot of time, but what kind of message do you have for Captain Brock? Or maybe other people that are out there on the water and they encounter somebody out there. I mean, would you give them any advice? Because obviously you handled yourself pretty well, in my opinion. But what would you say? First off, I mean, you said you were 22. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So, I mean, you did say you were a kid. I kind of found that a little odd. But, hey, I don't know how I'd handle myself. Somebody gets on my boat. So, I kudos to you for doing it that way and trying to de-escalate it. But, I mean, what's going on with you? Are you getting, what can we say to other people or Captain Brock? What message do you have?
Well, bro, to all the future Billy badasses out there, I would just say calm down a little bit. Have a little bit more respect for your peers, even though I am 22. Just have a little bit more respect.
Right on.
Demand that respect.
Right on. So you're standing on business when you're on your boat, and nobody's gonna get on your boat. I got it.
No, that would never.
Well,
unless you're Captain Brock.
Apparently. So, but it seems like Captain Brock is getting his. We appreciate you calling in today, man, and I hope you get on the water. Send us some pics, post some pictures to our Facebook page, and let us know how you're doing out there, man. We wish you the best. Thank you for coming in or calling in today, and I wish you the best, man.
Thanks, Florida kid.
Absolutely, man.
Well, thank you, bro. I got to go back to playing Warzone and eating pizza rolls.
Right on, man.
Be careful on the water.
Well, that was cool, man. We had a call in for both sides of the story. We got a little bit of both. We can't just tell one side of the story. So there we go. We got both.
2 in a row, man. You got it covered.
We heard them both. All right, so now let's talk about it.
Let's dive in.
Okay, so Captain Douchebag Brock Dickhead Horner. So he comes flying. He flies through early morning.
Right.
He does. I guess there's 2 boats. The kid that we just talked to. And then another one of his friends are fishing. So Captain Brock comes through before daylight, doesn't see the lights. He hauls ass past them, whatever. So he circles back around. They go out. They try to catch some fish because being the best charter captain ever, he's got to run through those clients quick. Run out there, get them, get some fish, run back, get more clients. So he hauls ass past them. He circles back around. They get into it. What is the first thing? What is the first unhinged moment where you're like, all right, I got to start making a decision. I'm either going to fight it's me or him, fight or flight.
Right. I felt like he tried to de-escalate it, so all jokes aside, big props to him because he definitely tried to de-escalate it. But I think he was already on a mission, not to sound so cliche since he's, a war veteran and all this, but he tried to de-escalate it by saying there was 2 boats. That was those guys, and he established those aren't my buddies, but I was here also. I saw it all, and he just bypassed all it and was like, they're not here. You're here. Here's where the unhinged is going to go to.
And being that far out, so a lot of I've seen some people talking about, oh, you should have called the authorities and stuff. Well, being that far out, like you're not going to have any authorities there quick enough. But I think. What was that?
Might be me.
Getting another call?
No, this That's good. You guys
Might be the authorities this time.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought we might have another one. We got a lawyer calling right now.
Right.
Hey, we got a cease and desist. We just keep going. Long story short, man, that dude's an asshole. Whatever he got and is getting coming towards him, I think he deserves every bit of it. But
Yeah. What an unreal, like that how long is that video? 5 minutes long or whatever.
Yeah.
That is unreal. If you say you're that good of a charter, you just ruined your livelihood. I mean, I know you guys don't fish as much, but I know some personal guys that they do this for a living.
yeah,
And everybody complains, man, this guy's charging $600 for 3 guys. Well, he's got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's got to get your bait. He's got to get fuel in the boat, get it in the water, get ready
Ice.
for you. By the time he's done,
Ice
literally,
in the cooler, all that stuff.
yeah. So the most untouched rule that nobody does is when you get chartered, first thing you need to do is you need to tip that person.
yeah.
Because a lot of the times what you tip, that's probably what they're making for that day, because there's so much that goes into that. I mean, these boats are, now over $100,000 for a boat.
And they're burning a lot of fuel.
Exactly. So
And fuel is not cheap anymore.
the fact that he affected other people that have the same name as him, dude, that's a huge livelihood loss. How do you recover that?
Well, hopefully he will recover, because one is bringing a lot of highlight now to that other guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully people will feel sorry for him and be like, all right, let me go fish with the good Brock, not the shitty
Yeah.
Brock.
Yeah.
I hope it works out good for him. The
Yeah.
good Brock. The shitty Brock, nah, just keep shitting on him.
Shoot, I may take the tin can out there and just name it the Brock and see if I can
The
get some
Brock.
guys out there.
Probably could, yeah.
Man, I tell you what, the first time I saw that, or I was watching that video, it came across my feed, and then I saw that guy, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? But really what stood out to me, and we haven't hit it enough, was when that guy started yelling, I'm a war veteran. These are all Rangers. What Ranger do you know? They're quiet professionals, man.
Yeah.
They're not out there telling people what they do. And if you are a Ranger, man, and you're out there making an announcement, I think there's gonna be some people looking to talk to you, man, because that is not cool. I know guys, you know guys, we know guys, and they are not talking about it.
So, Robert, I think you were the one that sent the video to us first.
Right.
And we watched it, and as we watched it, as soon as he said, oh, we're all Rangers, we're war veterans, both Ben and I, we were both like, dude, this is bullshit. Like, no,
Yeah.
man. I mean, you can just tell from the words that they use, how they use them, come on,
Yeah.
bro.
I mean, what war were you in?
Yeah. And
What
So
war
we
were
did-
you in that you say, I am a war veteran? I was in the French Revolution.
in the war.
I never served, but I'm friends with a lot of guys that have served, a lot of them that are still serving.
Right.
And I have never once, we work with a lot of foundations, Heroes on the Water and so forth and so on. There's so many foundations we've worked with that we pride ourselves in. Me being never served, me being that guy on the outside, it is so hard to just sit with anybody who's, even if they never made out of basic training, but just to say, hey, talk to me, whatever, I'm your guy. Let me be that person for you. It is so hard to pry in. And for somebody to just blurt it out like that, I personally, as a civilian, I've never had anybody say, here's my rank. You've had a couple of conversations with them, a couple of fishing trips, and then they finally start to say, hey, they talk about a couple of things. And then there's certain guys that just want to get it off their chest, but never just, blah, here it is,
The funny thing, I guess karma always bites you in the ass, right? With this guy, I did hear some stories that he did serve, but I think he was S1, which is admin, human resources for the Army, right? So I think it was Ben or Ben's wife was making comments about, man, those paper cuts must cut deep. I was like, yeah, that's funny.
That guy laid his life on the line, passing all that paperwork out and processing those leave forms, bro.
Yeah, why can't, I mean, if that's what you did, cool, be proud of it, be proud of it. But don't go out there and say, oh, we're all Rangers and we did this and we did that. So when he done that, he wanted the whole world to know, or he wanted that kid to know that he was some kind of badass, right? And now look what the whole world is looking at. Look how that karma just bit you in the ass.
I can't tell you how many times I say, I'm glad I grew up in the era where we still had, MySpace before that. You know, I
MySpace.
was lucky
Hell
enough
yeah.
to see
MySpace.
Oregon Trail before the internet.
Oh,
You know, the
And
dial
karate.
tone.
Remember that floppy disk?
Exactly. You had to do 8 of them just to get through the whole Oregon Trail game. But you know, everybody wears a GoPro or some type of camera nowadays, and it, man, you know, do it for the whatever. You know, it's all documented. It's so hard to get out of it now. But he probably had no idea what was going on. He probably thought it's not even recording.
That's so. Ben and I were talking earlier today when we're just talking about that video and how this shit has probably happened since there's been boats. Something like this has been happening.
Yeah.
But technology now that everybody's got a camera in their pocket, on their boat, on their chest, on a helmet, on.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a camera going now, so now we get to see it a lot more often. We get to call out the dumbasses, make fun of them, and
Yep.
and
Hey, thank you.
yeah, thanks.
What was that
Like,
old
thanks.
movie, Eagle Eye or something like that? Where it don't matter where they went, there was cameras. I mean, they had
Cameras
access to
everywhere.
every camera. You can't run from
It's
it. and
pretty
that's what
much
it's
Big
like.
Brother, dude.
Yeah, literally.
This dude's out here on big water. There ain't gonna be no cameras out. If there's
Yeah.
a boat out there, there's cameras on it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
if you want to act that stupid, just remember that there's going to be a camera on you at some point somewhere because they're absolutely everywhere.
So let's talk about what crimes were. What crimes occurred, right? Because I mean, there was some. I don't know if there was charges pressed against him, but he was arrested. Later, he was arrested.
He spent time in jail. Yeah, he did. I don't remember. I know I looked at it and I seen it, but I don't want to throw out the wrong charges. But I know he did get charged with quite a bit of stuff, and his life's going to be pretty rough after this. I mean, he got famous for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, we're sitting here joking about it, and we had some people impersonating calls and all that stuff. It was just all for fun.
Wait, what'd you say? That wasn't
That
wasn't them.
that. Calm down, everybody. That wasn't Captain Brown.
Next, you're gonna say wrestling's fake too. Are you serious?
Hey, he's got one big couch in there. I'll show you it's real.
All right, so here's the deal. We're joking about it, but there were some serious things to learn from this, and that's one. Can you get arrested for having an incident like that on the water? Well, Captain Brock was arrested. He was arrested for several charges, or I'll say a few charges, right? He spent some time in jail, and because of that, he had to completely erase well, he didn't have to. It was probably a smart thing.
Yeah, good point.
He erased all his social media, his website, all that stuff. And, Jimmy and I are guides. We need that for, that's a business thing and, all that stuff. And he had to get all that down because there was people making real threats to him and to that other captain and other people that were on that boat. And this is a serious thing, man. You can't just be going out there and acting like some kind of Somali pirate trying to hijack somebody else.
I was going to say that earlier.
I
He
am
must
the
be part
captain now.
Somali.
I am the captain now.
Yeah, so this guy goes out there and just you know who I am, all that stuff. I'm a war veteran. I'm the best fishing charter you've ever seen. Guy was full of shit. And bottom line, the guy had no right to get on that guy's boat. He could have handled it 10 different ways. And from what I hear, man, this is the worst and most disturbing part about it. There was somebody on his boat that was kind of like, hey, man, you got to go down to that boat and talk to that kid and don't take any shit from him.
So I think those guys, I don't want to be saying things that I don't know for fact, but I heard or read an article that those guys were some pretty hardcore veterans, right?
Yeah.
And that they were kind of agging it on. And as a veteran, too, in their defense, we talk a lot of shit. We have some dark humor. We do some crazy things. But we know when to cut it off. But I don't know if this S1 paper pusher dude thought, all right, let me impress these guys. I'll show them what kind of badass I wanted to be. Or if the dude is just batshit crazy. I don't know which one. But you're right, Ben. It wasn't right to ag them on. But in their defense, they thought that there's no telling what old Captain Ranger Brock told these guys what they were.
Yeah.
And they probably thought he could hang with their humor, and they couldn't. But, I mean, if I didn't know you and Ben and I, we went out on a boat, and you threw out a lot of, veteran, not even veteran, just military humor and darkness and things like that, I wouldn't think twice about it.
Right.
But if you went unhinged like that, I'd be like, oh, we got to distance ourselves from this guy.
Yeah.
And these guys tried to afterwards. They're like, hey, we didn't know this shit was going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this: you better look out because I'm on the water 300 days out of the year, and I'm the best perch jerker there is out there.
Dude.
Bro, in Corpus we used to pack like a Crown Royal bag. I don't know why I always had Crown Royal bags. That's weird. Anyway, I had a Crown Royal bag full of like old like AA batteries or C-cell batteries. I think back then I'm dating myself. There was only like C-cell batteries. That was the smallest battery back then.
You still had that mag light that had about eight of them in there.
So we would pack those batteries, man, and when like boaters would come out crossing our lines and stuff, we just launch batteries at their ass, try to freaking get them to be like, hey, I'll tell you what, that kid you called in today, I need you to pack yourself a pack of batteries in your bag. If you're not going to carry on the boat, carry a Crown Royal bag full of batteries. That'll teach those assholes.
Or a machete.
Right.
Machete that'll get somebody to jump out of your boat.
I don't know, man. A machete, I've seen Captain Phillips, and I don't think the machete was going to help those guys.
I'm the captain.
Look at me. I am the captain now. Well, he's definitely the captain of a prison cell or a jail cell. Or if he's out by now,
I think he's out now. I think he got out Monday or either yesterday or Monday. I think he got out.
I can't imagine the charge was too great. I mean, other than probably, being very offensive, or he was totally in the right to defend himself, in my opinion. But I don't think the charge would have been enough to probably hold him. It's probably something that definitely is going to get settled in court.
Or could it? Now we're talking about, I mean, I hate to say international waters, but open water like that, there's different maritime laws.
Yeah, I don't know what the maritime law.
Yeah.
I mean, they were inland. I don't think that they were. I mean, there was a bridge there.
Sure.
So I don't know what the laws are there. So I don't want to talk on it. But yeah, it could be totally different than what we're used to, and we know. But no matter what, stand your ground state, like you said earlier, he had the right to defend himself.
Yeah.
And I feel like he did, man. I feel like he did the best he could to de-escalate the situation. I mean, there was a lot of people commenting on our page.
I will say that, yeah, a lot of people were commenting on there, and he probably did deserve an ass whooping for the amount of bros.
Yeah.
that alone grants an ass whooping.
I think that was the biggest complaint of anybody who made comments on our page. We had hundreds, probably a couple hundred comments, and dang, dude, there were some people that were like pretty pissed off that were like, I tell you what, Captain Brock, try getting on my boat and I'll meet you halfway. And this and that.
There was people that sided, one on the kid's side, one on Captain Brock's side, and they were talking about meeting halfway, kicking each other.
Those people were at freaking odds. So maybe
there
is something in the water in Florida.
They could be Ranger War veterans too.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's probably something we're not talking about. And there was people being sensitive about it. Hey, he's probably suffering from PTSD. You know what? Save me that bullshit. You could say I have PTSD. You got PTSD. Anyone that has suffered through a traumatic event can say they have PTSD. And I get it. He's, I get it. The camera was off. I don't know what happened there.
Captain Brock done cut your internet off.
Yeah, he done cut us off. He done cut us off. But I get it. There's probably I don't want to blame it on that stigma or anything like that, because at the same time, you have a responsibility to. I want to see if this camera goes back on. It don't. So you have a responsibility to handle yourself as an individual, regardless of your background, regardless of the things you've been through.
Correct.
You especially if you are a fishing captain, bro. Like, you are a professional.
Well, tell me this, man. As an Army Ranger in the 74th, yeah, not the 75th, the 74th Ranger Regiment, you probably been through some pretty stressful events in your life, and somebody without their navigation lights on their boat shouldn't even peck your radar at that point. Like, that should not put you over the edge like that. So that, I mean, to me, that goes into question of, like, if this dude even continues to try to say he's a Ranger, if that puts you over the edge, then I just don't believe you.
I mean, dude, you're talking about Florida. Florida, I mean, you could potentially say Florida, the fishing capital of the world when it comes to salt water.
It's also the capital of most crazy people.
You can, any bridge you go through, bridges are known for good fishing around them.
They're
it's
also
common
great to
sense.
cross big bodies of water.
They're also great to jump off of if you're broke.
Yeah. Walk the plank.
But you should have been ready. Anytime you go under, any kind of bridge like that, especially in Florida and those waters, if you know it's a hot spot for fishing, you automatically shut it down.
Yeah, true. Paul Falk says he might be getting his fishing hole resized.
He's getting
That's
that
a good
bitch
one, Paul.
re-gauged. He's getting that bitch re-gauged.
Yeah. Bored out.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, we're down to your cameras here, man. I don't know. I lost mine, but hey, I'm gonna keep joining in the conversation, and I'll just be here coming in. So, I just think it's super interesting that the biggest complaint about that kid was how many times he said "bro."
Yeah.
I didn't know. I know that we use the word.
I
We
say it
do
a
it.
lot.
I mean, in his
Even at
defense,
work, I
if you're
say it.
scared shitless, I mean, I'm pretty sure we all have
A tick.
Yeah.
something.
That must have been his comfort word for sure. But
I mean, we should go back and play like a drinking game. How many times he says "bro" in that video, and then you take a shot.
We'd
bro.
be stumbling out of here.
So Joe Baker says, can we talk about how you buy a boat and then automatically entitles you to the name of the captain? Why is that such a flex in Florida?
Oh, so that boat was named after him?
What? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know that was a thing in Florida. That's kind of like license plates in Virginia, personalized license
Yeah,
plates.
I've
never seen a state with more personalized license plates in Virginia. I guess boats are the same way.
I guess
Right.
so. Yeah.
So is it the USS Brock?
USS Shithead, fishing vessel.
It's the USS
Dickhead?
Douchebag, yeah. It's the douche canoe. I knew it.
I can tell you one thing. This guy has probably definitely made a lot of life tougher for those guides out there. Had to have. Because now, somebody who's never been on a charter, now they see this, and this is spreading like wildfire. This is the hottest thing right now versus somebody catching a 24-foot bluefin, whatever.
So Alabama's fishing charter is about to get real busy over now. You don't hear nothing about the Alabama guys.
That Florida-Bama line is
That
about to get real packed. ain't
That
it?
water's fine down there.
But the
isn't it?
laws are different, man. Fishing hook requirements, all that stuff is different, man. I've been fishing down there.
know.
And
I haven't done it.
I had to look at the laws and circle hooks only and no barbs and all that stuff. There's some different laws down there. It's
In
crazy.
Florida or Alabama?
It was one of those, man. I just remember having to. I was teetering the line down there, and I was like, okay, I got to get my license for Alabama now and whatever. But it's different, man. It was crazy, like if you took some fishing rigs with you from Texas and you go down there, it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
I always wanted to fish down there, but I know now if I do fish, I'm going to take my own kayak, my own paddle boat, my own boat. I'm not going to hire a charter captain like you said. I'm not gonna hire one.
You got to pack your own Academy sporting goods when you go down there.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I would fish with those charter captains. I think it would be great. And I think for the most part, they're all probably awesome dudes and good at what they do, weeding them out. I mean, you see Captain Chris from Two Conks, he gone. Captain Brock, he gone.
Right.
I don't know what happens. I'm pretty certain. I don't know what.
Bro, just like any other business, it's under new management, under a new name.
Right,
man.
but it's the captain license, right? So you can't do that with a captain's license. So I'm sure it'll get revoked, suspended, whatever case happens. But can you get it back? It should be indefinitely gone. I mean, if that's the way you're going to act out on the water,
I think for him that line has came to an end.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's pretty tough to get out there and start that business and be a captain, get your license, like you said. You can freshwater captain without having a license, but saltwater's a whole nother
different
ballgame. Yeah. I think he's reached the end of his line.
Good, he deserves it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I concur.
I don't think any of those good folks down there need an asshole like that, to be on there, especially with them in control.
That's the thing, man. Being guides ourselves, we know how much we take it so personal when someone pays us to put them on a hunt, put them on a fishing trip or whatever, right?
Right.
You want them to leave with what they paid for, right?
Yeah.
And now this kid wasn't paying for a charter. He's on his own boat. He had nothing to do with that, but there's going to be people that think about paying a fishing charter coming up and this and that, and they're thinking about it. I'm sure they're kind of weeding out people, but man, if you look at the the reviews and stuff on those guys, man, they're getting hammered, and there's
Yeah,
people that are like
hardcore.
coming out of the water that are saying, I've been on a fishing trip with Captain Brock. That guy has no business being a captain.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Seen a lot of those reviews. Well,
People that were probably afraid to kind of bash his business.
Well, not only that, but a lot of those reviews have been stacked at the bottom. Now they're bringing, they're coming to the top, to the forefront,
Right.
And it's coming out. Yeah, I mean, that's why we've been saying this through this video that, hey, this guy's a dirtbag. You know what I mean? But it all goes in hand with each other. So it's not just that one instance.
Right.
It's everything that's been coming out after that about.
You know, I've been in the sales world for a good while, selling what I do, generators and whatnot.
I'm glad you said that, because if you don't specify, people can speculate.
Yeah, well, like I said, man, I'm out there 365 days a year, and there ain't a better generator salesman than myself.
I
But
love it.
There's an unspoken deal that you hear all the time when it comes to sales. The customer is always right, even when they're wrong.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to make it right.
Yeah,
You know?
I've had impossible customers that is just like, man, this guy here had.
You were just telling me about a lady not too long ago that you were trying to, like you went over went out of your way to kind of make her feel good. And you know that when you do that,
Yeah.
customer brings you other customers. So
Exactly.
imagine what this guy did for his business.
He just killed it, man.
Done.
It's hanging on a fence for the rest of the coyotes to see what happened to cousin Ben out there,
Hanging
He's
up by its
done.
mouth.
Literally. Yeah.
Beachy
he's
Ben's
done.
been known to hang a couple things on a fence, bro.
Oh man, I almost. I told you we had some dark humor and jokes, and it almost slipped out. Remember, down south, one of the. We'll talk about it after this. I can't let it.
Oh
slip.
yeah,
You don't wanna-
somebody
yeah.
brought up some old stuff.
Yeah, we can't let that go.
We're gonna let that.
I noticed your live is rolling, man. You guys click and share and get some folks in here. If you guys got some questions or something you want to add to it, I think we're open to it, right, guys?
We
Absolutely, we can even take phone calls.
As long as they're not collect.
I was about to bring that up. So there's a few people watching now, but some will watch later too.
Yeah.
Would y'all be cool if we did open up a phone line and people could call in and just either say what's up, or if you had a question about anything about us, about what we do, anything,
Hell yeah.
or
So
say that, hey, we're
explain a
shitheads.
little bit how that would work.
So basically, all that would happen, we would come on, we would do a live, and we were talking about, at the end, knocking off 15, 20, 30 minutes, maybe however long it takes.
Yeah.
And if people want to call in, we'll post the phone number. You call in, it'll come over air. Everybody will hear. Anybody with headsets will hear it. We'll talk, answer the question, talk about it, or not even a question if you just want to talk. So that's, open phone line.
Are you guys thinking about bringing more topics? I know you guys got a pretty wide range. I know last week it was about turkey hunting, and the week before, it was about the hunt. So,
Next week we got some biologists coming on with us to talk about that, don't we?
Yeah, we got two biologists coming on, wildlife and
Habitat habitat conservation biologists. They both work for Texas Parks and Wildlife, but you got to understand these guys are regional, man. So they're like all over Texas, helping out other landowners and stuff, getting their habitat ready. And we're excited to have them on board. They're going to be full of information.
Those poor folks are stretched thin, aren't they?
They're
Oh,
stretched
they are.
so thin. And the cool thing is that they're going to carve out a time of their busy day to come and talk about what they do. And that's one thing. That's one reason that we really wanted to have them on, is because they're a resource and an asset that's out there for not only public land. I'm sorry. A lot of people think they're only for, public land, but they're out there for any landowner that wants to get in touch with a Texas Parks and Wildlife Division's biologist, and they will come to your property and as a service help you manage that property. So we want them to come on and just spread some spotlight on
They've
what
been
they
on
do.
our property, and they've showed us some
A lot,
things, and
yeah.
they've given us keys to some of the resources we have for the management of our habitat out there, and telling us basically what's thriving, what's not, what we can do to improve, what we can do to maintain.
Yeah.
And those are huge successes for us, because we can use those tools and resources to build the business and build a habitat for the animals. And we're that's what we're doing. We're conservation minded. We're not just out there.
Before we got in touch with them, though, did you know that was an option, that there was biologists at your fingertips that you could tap into?
Absolutely not.
I
Like
had no
that was the
clue
thing.
either.
I was going through so many YouTube videos, researching all kinds of agencies and stuff, and then I was like, wait a minute. These guys will actually come out, do an observation, sit down and look and go through different trees, grasses.
They'll go through all the vegetation. They'll go through your herd counts, your animal populations, your the healthiness. There's just so much. So it's an untapped resource out there that we want to bring to everybody next
They're
week.
checking for
Yeah.
sign. They're checking for foraging. They're checking for all kinds
Such a
of things.
huge respect for those guys because I mean that's what keeps our hunting.
Yeah.
You know, it
and what
sounds funny to say that, but you know, there is such thing as you take a piece of property and you go out there and you just start you go from hunting to eradicating, and then now you're just like, man, I was here last year and saw 3. I've got nothing, and these guys just kind of keep everything in check, and it's amazing what
Well,
they
they help
It
you
is.
do that. You know,
And I mean, you made a good point earlier. You were asking about like different topics, and that's one thing that Cast and Blast Podcast. We want to talk about some fishing. We want to talk about some hunting, some conservation, or anything in the middle of it. And we hope if y'all got some ideas of content out there that you would like, throw it out there, and we'll check it out. We've been throwing around the idea of vlogging a little too, but we'll see.
I don't know, man. You got some cool stuff in the background. There's been an Easter egg
yeah.
sitting back there.
Check this out. All right. So I'm kind of excited about this.
What do you got in your hand, man?
So as a kid, I used to always see something on TV, and I couldn't quite afford it then. Luckily, I mean, I can afford this now, but
That's
here
a
it is.
flex.
Yeah. What a weird flex, right? I can afford the Banjo Minnow. So
30 years later.
30 years later. Has anybody ever tried these and used them? I have.
Let us know in the comments if you've tried a banjo minnow.
Banjo Minnow. I'm super pumped to use these. I've been wanting them since I was a kid. I did try them once, but they kind of went bad before I got to try them. When you're in Army, sometimes you go places where you can't fish. You come back, your shit's ruined, and that's kind of what happened. But I'm pretty pumped about using them. Let us know about the Banjo Minnows.
Yeah, Robert. We got some more hunting on our agenda here, don't we?
Man, we got some ground to make up. That's why we say it on both sides of the world. We say, that's why they call it fishing, not catching. And that's
Humble
why we
in
call it
victory
hunting,
and
not
humble in
killing or
defeat.
whatever. Exactly. We might make up some ground this weekend, right? I do have all that footage that we took, but I couldn't bring myself to actually put it together and do
Brother,
something.
I'm with you, dude.
Because it was just like, man, there's no bingo in it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So nobody knows what you're talking about, and we haven't really got to talk about this yet.
tell us a little bit about it, Jimmy.
I know that this is probably going a little bit long right now. So Robert was saying, maybe
we're right over an hour. We're
right
good.
over an hour. Okay,
Wow,
we'll,
we're good.
We'll try to. I'm having a good time, right? We'll keep it going.
I'm having a good time.
All right. So a couple weekends ago, the Midnight Meat Train, which is us, you're looking at the Midnight Meat Train, and we had one other friend with us as well, part of the Midnight Meat
And
Train.
we're not talking about making beef jerky at 12 o'clock at night or
12
something.
midnight, yeah.
I don't know. There
There wasn't
crazy
a lot
night.
of meat at all, brother. It was the midnight miss train. We didn't miss anything. We just didn't see anything.
Yeah.
There was reasons though. When I say reason, what we did, we entered a coon hunting tournament, right? So all thermal, calling in coons, this and that, raccoons. So it didn't end well. It didn't go well for us. We had a lot of breakdowns. We had a lot of setbacks. We had a lot of issues.
Talk about the breakdowns. It's good to talk about it.
I wish we talked
I
about
wish
how
we had video of
we
it.
would have recorded it. So
Yeah.
Ben and I, we think that we have redundancy. Everything that we do, we think we have redundancy. So out on the lease, we got a 6-seater Polaris Ranger, and then we got a Nissan hard body truck with a bench seat, high rack seat. So we're like, okay, no matter what happens, we got redundancy. One breaks, the other one is backup.
Yeah.
Well, the Ranger, we started hunting in the Ranger, getting around, and it kept overheating. So we're like, all right, let's take it back. We're going to get the Nissan. And I'm trying to wrap this up, not keep it real long. So we got the Nissan. where we start from, where all of our vehicles are parked at, is on the complete other end of the
1,200 acres.
of the
At
property.
least 1,200 acres. Separated by other parcels.
Yeah, separate. Yeah, they're not even adjoining. So I don't know as a crow flies, but you can't walk this as a crow flies. So as you drive, it's probably about a 5 mile.
And keep in mind, so I'm going to add a little bit to that. This Nissan is a 2-seater.
Yeah.
So there is
No,
there
it's
is
a king cab.
Well, okay,
yeah,
it's a
clear
king
mind.
cab,
It's a
but
two-seater,
it's
yeah.
a king cab. But there's the way I can scoot back there.
Yeah.
Then there's a jump seat that's above the cab. So me and Shane have been eating bugs and mud and everything to the back side of this 1,200 acres.
Unbeknownst to us.
Go ahead.
We thought they were having when we hear wee, we thought they were having fun.
The seatbelts work, by the way.
Seatbelts work.
Them seatbelts will grab you, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So we drive all the way back to the as far back as you could on
The
these
back
two
40.
parcels. The back 40. And I turned the truck off because we're going to make our last stand, try to call in some coons, and we're going to make our last stand and head to weigh-ins. Well, I turned the truck off, and I'm like, I want to pull up about maybe another 50 yards. And it goes click, 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 click. Batteries, just no power. So we can't turn the battery over. And we carry a jump pack with us, but it was in the Ranger. So depending on what vehicle we drive, we put it in that vehicle. But we were in a tournament in a hurry, so we
Hunting
didn't
mode.
swap. Yeah, we didn't swap over the equipment. So click, click, click. We start looking through the Nissan, through the truck, and we're like, shit, we got to jump this thing off. So we get it. We finally, well, actually, how did we finally do this? All right. So I look in the back, and I'm like, man, there's two 12-volt deer feeder batteries back here, spinner batteries. So Robert's like, all right, man, give me avocado, a toilet paper roll,
Trust me, I've done it with less.
and a 1/2-inch ratchet that's at least 10 inches long. So I'm like, all right, man, I have that back here by chance. Here's the avocado, here's the toilet paper roll, and here's the ratchet.
Bubblegum wrapper. Yeah.
Bubblegum wrap, yeah. So next thing I know, Robert says, try it. Boom. So the truck starts up, and we're like, all right, cool. We got it jumped off. Let's get the hell out of here.
Robert jumped it with a 12-volt feeder battery and a ratchet.
And a ratchet.
So I grew up in the back roads of Moody. We make things happen over there.
So then we're all loading up to jump in and take off, and Ben's like, yo, you're not going to believe this shit. And we're like, what? And he's like, this tire's up flat. It's on the ground. Like, it's just done. And we're like, nah, dude. And mind you,
We've already been up for how long?
Yeah, we've been hunting all night. Sun's already come back. This is probably 6:30, 7 in the morning.
Yeah, we didn't even take a break that night.
Nah,
we didn't
bro,
even take a
what's
break.
a break? What's
Not,
that?
not only that, Shane and I got up at 5 o'clock that morning.
Y'all were working.
and went and did a little job.
That's right, yeah.
So we've been up since 5 the day before. Yeah.
Hurting, just
Yeah.
rough.
I was up here editing videos to try to post on YouTube. Here we are, man, out there getting it.
So then, all right, the tire's flat, right? So the tire's flat,
But we got a pump.
but we got a pump. We're
But
like,
it
all
runs
right,
on
cool.
12-volt battery.
Runs on a 12-volt battery. So we can't get this going, and then we finally get the pump going. Long story short, and it's plug into your cigarette lighter battery. But I'm trying to hold it. It'll kind of run, then it won't run. So I pull it out. I look at it. The tips broke off, and we're like, dude, this shit just ain't working, man. So then Robert's like, all right, man, I hope you don't care about this thing. We'll cut this off. We'll just run it, straight to the battery. So we got it going straight to the
Got
battery.
about
the
12
pump.
PSI in the tire.
We got about 12 PSI
Yeah.
on the tire. We haul ass back to the cabin where all the other vehicles
Where
are.
Shane and I are still in the jump seat.
Right in the jump seat, eating all the bugs and mud that's in Central Texas. But
It rained right before that.
it ended up being a long, stressful, just shitty night.
Needless to say, we went to the weigh-in just to show up.
But I'll tell you this,
We
though,
tossed
man.
the raccoons that we did get. We tossed them in the freaking at the train station, and we just drove on
We
to
didn't
shake some
weigh in.
hands. Yeah.
When you run into a hunt like that, though, man, you're with your bros, you're having a good time. You know what's even crazier about that. We always say, I'll grab a couple of beers. The beer is going to be the factor that night. And we had nothing.
How many
but
beers
water.
did you have?
We
Yeah,
had nothing.
Nothing.
But that is a hunt to remember. That's something that in my opinion, whether it was y'all
success
consider it
or
a bad
yeah,
hunt or a
fail.
success, it was cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Think about it. We'll be sitting around in our freaking 65, 70 years old on the back porch by the pool smoking a cigar. Hey, remember that night?
We're gonna
Robert
get after
took that ratchet and jumped that truck off,
So
Yeah.
So we were talking about maybe going back out this weekend for a redemption run. But you know what we haven't done, Ben? We haven't been back out there since that night. The Ranger's still going to overheat. The Nissan's still got a flat tire. And we're going to show up and expect to do great things. And it's just...
What's the definition of insanity?
Us.
Yeah,
Us.
doing the same thing and expecting
Us.
different results, right?
And we'll be out there with the same freaking smile, man.
But we're going to go out there and we're going to have a good time. Man, we hope you guys had a good time joining us today. I know I'm not on camera, but that's what happens when you're live producing something, man.
It
Things
happens.
happen, But, hey, we got you guys on the camera. We got the good-looking guys on the camera at least.
Wow.
We got, what we got, who is it? What's the celebrity you get? What's the guy? You know who he is.
For what?
The celebrity you get mistaken for.
No, I'm not even going to say that.
I'm going to say it. Hold on.
You gotta say it now.
Hang on. I'm going to pull it out. Give me a second.
No.
It's not Ben Affleck. It's his best friend. Yeah, so we got some good-looking guys on the camera, man, and we hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. We wanted to bring you in. We had a trending topic. We try to keep it, topical. We try to keep it fun with you guys. We're high-energy guys just coming out here doing raw, unedited, unfiltered podcasts for you guys. If you're enjoying these podcasts and you like what we're doing, let us know in the comments. If you like what we're doing, share, like, comment, do whatever you can to help us get this in front of more people. We aren't charging anybody anything, and I don't think we have any intention to do that at any time. No subscriptions, none of that. We just want to try to get this going. We're a couple of gray-bearded guys that are doing something way far past our time, but we're young-minded, young-hearted, and we still love getting out there and fishing and hunt. And we're going to keep doing it till we can't do it no more, and I don't see that anytime in our future.
Have y'all seen those new track chairs they got? They ain't no stopping us.
There ain't no stopping us. You got quiet cats out there. You got all kinds of
I'll take that
things.
401k and buy a track chair. I'm
Brother,
ready.
My wife already knows when it comes between October, well, way before October
Yeah,
because we're out there working.
August, September through February.
Through end of February. We're out there in the field. She knows every weekend we're done. This
Joseph
weekend we're
Baker
going down.
commented Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Matt Damon. That's who it is. You could be the what's that movie he does or that show? He's got a series of movies. Born Identity.
Oh, Jason Bourne?
Jason Bourne.
Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne.
We got Jason Bourne here. I can tell you firsthand that this dude does not have the skills that Jason Bourne has, but I tell you what, man, I don't trust anybody else
We
out
might
there.
have to film the next time we go out to the lease. We might have to do some Jason Bourne moves out there. And film.
Yeah, I can tell you there's no one else I trust more
You
being
won't
out
see
in the
me.
woods
Yeah.
than being out with this guy because I don't care where I'm at. I get lost out there. This guy could tell you, hey, tell me what the tree looks like you're staring at, and he'll get me home. So I hope you guys were enjoying this podcast. Jimmy, can you send us out?
I can, but first thing I want to say is I got to say thanks to Ben. Ben put like 6 hours, maybe 8 hours in today. Just getting we had to get things reset back up in the studio, and Ben just killed it today. He went through doing a lot of work. So I just got to say from me too, thanks, Ben. Appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Shout out to you, Ben.
But I do want to say, Captain Brock, fuck you. I hope you get what you get, coming to you. But other than that, hey, thanks for joining us. Like Robert said earlier, if you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Every bit of that helps us immensely. You wouldn't know how much it helps. But we love you. We thank you. And we'll see you again next Wednesday. Every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Y'all have a good night, good evening. See you later.